Alright. Hi all, welcome to LearnStroke and welcome to LearnStroke's IAS live. I'm very happy to have a lot of people here, and as you know, this is going to be an interactive Q&A. Yes, so basically we'll be starting off with the Q&A session as said, how to start your preparation for IAS. That is the first thing that we are going to discuss in this live. And yes, so Aditya says hi, and Archa Krishna says hi, Sinisha ji says hi, and Ponmati Muthu says hi, Raji, Sharath, Sai, everybody. So yes, so thank you so much for coming in, and definitely this is going to be a Q&A session. And what are your civil services related doubts? Especially the topic is how to begin your preparation. So I really expect that a lot of people will be new dreamers who want to get into the service. So definitely, what are some of the yeah, Devikar says hi, and hi all, and yes sir. Can you shoot the questions if you want to start off with how do you want to prepare and what are the things that you want to keep in mind? And if you can ask few questions, that will be great. Or I'll start right away with how to prepare for how to begin your civil service preparation. So any key important questions that you want to ask here? Or shall I begin randomly? Yeah, I'm getting highs. Oh, I'm getting a lot of highs over there, but I'll do one thing. I'll start beginning the session, and first of all, the title of the content said how to begin your civil services preparation. So this is a good question that you need to ask. So before that, there'll be a lot of questions regarding how to start and what are the things that you should keep in your mind, and especially what are the eligibility of this examination. If you are really important, and you should know what is the eligibility of the examination, and how to prepare studying in school, and then the question come where we want to start our preparation, and how to prepare in school. So basically I'll give you the answer for the school question, and before that let me tell you the eligibility of this examination. You know, civil service examination, you have to be 21 years of age, you have to be a graduate from a recognized university. If you're 21 years of age and a graduate of a recognized university, and yeah, what are the books to read for IAS? I'll keep up all this question. The first question that came is how to study when you are in the school. So I really believe that you are a school student, and then we have a question regarding what are the books to read for IAS. I'll give you a complete book list regarding the subject itself. So basic few things: you have to be a graduate, you have to be 21 years of age, and that is the basic eligibility that you want to know about civil service examination. And then the next thing that you have to know about the examination is what are the stages that the examination is conducted. That is also very important. You should know that the exam is conducted in different phases, and the first stage is called as the preliminary exam, and the second stage is called the mains exam, and the third phase is called the interview. This is something you need to know about, minimum thing that you should know about civil service examination. So first is definitely a preliminary examination, second is a mains examination, and third is the interview level. And you should know the prelims examination is basically MCQ in nature. That means you will get objective questions to answer. And for the mains examination, it's going to be a written examination where you'll have to write answers. And the interview is going to be a personalized, one-on-one interaction with the interview panel. So it will be actually an interaction with the panel, which will happen in Delhi. So there is preliminary stage, main stage, and interview. If you clear all the three stages, then you are a civil servant. That is how it goes like. And Abhijit says, please explain CSAT. I'm coming to all these questions. So one by one. So this is basically the eligibility that you have asked for. And then the important question that you said is preliminary. What is CSAT? This is one thing which has created a nightmare for all civil services aspirants, because in the preliminary examination, you have to see that in the prelims examination, there are two papers for GS. One is the GS paper 1 and the second is the GS paper 2. So GS paper 1 is basically general knowledge, subjects like history, geography, economy, constitution, science and technology, environment, etc. And GS paper 2 is the CSAT paper. So the people who ask what is the CSAT paper, this is the paper 2 called CSAT paper. And in this CSAT paper, what do you have in CSAT paper? CSAT paper basically contains about logical reasoning, numerical aptitude. You say no, numerical aptitude, logical reasoning, and you'll have some questions of data interpretation like pie chart, bar diagrams, and basic arithmetic. It's the basic arithmetic, and everything is basically up to 10 standard level. And you will also have English passages. You'll get a question, and on top of that, you will have some questions on English passage, and the questions will be asked on that. So basically, this is what is called as CSAT paper, where you'll have so I'm right now explaining the CSAT paper, so where you'll have a mix of logical reasoning question, numerical aptitude, data interpretation, pie chart, and basic mathematics like ratio, proportion, time and distance, work ratio proportion, and percentages, profit and loss, simple questions regarding that, and English passages. So let me make it clear. As I said, in the preliminary examination, the mains is written, preliminary examination, there is two papers, GS1 and GS2. GS1 is for 100 questions for 200 marks. 100 questions and 200 marks, and GS paper 2 is CSAT. CSAT, and the second, this contains 80 questions, but here the mark is 2 marks. Here you have 2 mark question, here you have 2.5 marks, and the total is 200 marks. So the concept is 200 plus 200 is 400 marks is the total for 2 papers. But the thing that you have to remember is your GS paper 1, only your GS paper 1 is counted. That means for CSAT paper, mathematics, mathematics, logical reasoning, you have to only clear the examination. Just get 33%, you just clear this paper. Only if you clear this paper, your main GS paper will be evaluated. So that is the most important thing that you have to note here. And one more thing, since you asked CSAT paper, a lot of people ask the same question. Maths, how is Maths? Is Maths very difficult? Is Maths very difficult? How many of you out here has a problem with Maths related content? A lot of people believe that Maths, logical reasoning, numerical aptitude are some areas which are very, very tough. Which are areas which are very, very tough for the people. A lot of people have a big fear on this. Oh, it's going to be mathematics paper, so it's going to be very difficult. So definitely you need to understand that the CSAT paper that we're talking about, it's only qualifying in nature. It's only qualifying in nature. You only have to clear the CSAT, and you only have to clear this. What will be evaluated will be your GS paper 1 out of 200 marks. How much marks you will get will be the basis of how to get through the CSAT paper. So this is the basic thing that you need to know about preliminary examination. So people who have very difficulty, who have you have big time problems in solving mathematics, don't worry, you only have to qualify. And don't believe that I don't know maths and logical reasoning is very tough, so I'll not clear the civil service examination. If you're weak in maths, a lot of people, if you believe that you're weak in maths, you can start studying right now. Because recently CSAT paper has become very important. It is not easy to solve maths questions. So what you have to do is you have to practice right now. Practice logical reasoning questions, practice mathematical questions, all are up to 10 standard level. You should start practicing it right now rather than fearing. That is not the good thing. And next question that the people asked is, what is the books to read? So before that, what are the books to read? Before that, what are the books to read? Let me come. I told you about the eligibility. I gave you an idea about the eligibility, that you have to be 21 years of age and you have to be a graduate from a recognized university. And I told you there are three important phases. One is the prelims, second is the mains, and third is the interview. I told you about the prelims. Prelims contains what? GS paper 1, which is the general studies, and the GS paper 2, which is the CSAT. This is clear, right? And now I think before moving on to the books, general books, let me give you an idea about what are the main pillars of subjects that you have to study for civil services. Let's take it like this. Imagine that these are the subjects. These are the subjects that you have to study for the civil service examination. Let's classify it as the main pillar. This is called as the main pillar. Main pillar of subjects, and there are minor pillars. Let's say that according to the subjects are divided like main pillars and minor pillars, or you can call it as the major pillars. So which are the most important subjects that we have to study? That is the major pillars. Let's find out which are the major pillars that we have to study. One is definitely you need to know. One is history. History is one important major pillar that you have to study. And the second is geography. That is the next important thing that you have to study. History, geography, and then you have to study polity. Indian polity, which means Indian constitution. You have to know about Indian constitution. So history, geography, polity. Then you have to know about environment. Very important, environment. And apart from that, then you have to know about the economy. Very important topic, Indian economy. History 1, geography 2, polity, environment, economy, and science and technology. So I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the major 6 pillars of subjects that you have to study for civil service examination. And if you are, and definitely I'll go for the NCRT list also, don't worry, I'll definitely go to the NCRT list. So I'm just going one by one. So if you want to study for civil services, these are the major pillars: history, geography, Indian polity or constitution, environment, economy, science and technology. So these are the major pillars that we have to study. And some of the minor subjects, there are a lot of minor subjects, like you need to know about disaster management, you need to study about disaster management, international relations, internal security, and again Indian society. You need to know about the Indian society, international relations, internal security, disaster management, climate change, Indian society, and lot of minor subjects that you have to study for civil services. So I think the major subjects and minor subject is very clear. So this is how you start your preparation. And for the mains examination, before I go to the NCRT list and the books list, I am definitely coming to the book list. So I'll give an idea about the mains examination. You should also know about how the mains examination is all about, because that is very important. You know the prelims examination. So what is important in mains examination is, let's see the papers. There is one paper which is called as the regional language paper. Regional language paper, and then there is English language. Both the paper are for the 10th standard level. Here you need to clear the regional language. Mains examination is completely written. You have to write your answers. So regional language you can take Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Marathi, Hindi. You can take any subjects that you want. And for English you have to write compulsory English. And the very important thing that you have to note here is, only if you clear this paper, your regional language and English paper, only if you clear, you get the minimum cutoff for that paper, your other mains papers will be evaluated. So this is paper 1, which are basically qualifying in nature. So you can call it Q. These are the qualifying nature. And then you have an important paper called the essay paper. You have to write an essay paper, and after that you have the GS1 paper. Very important. GS1 paper means it contains mostly history, geography, in society, etc. Some important points. Then you have the GS paper 2, which contains Indian constitution, international relations, etc. And then you have the GS paper 3, which contains economy, environment, science and technology. And then you have the GS paper 4, which contains very important topic called as the ethics, integrity, aptitude. So you can remember that paper. GS paper 4 is ethics, integrity and aptitude. And why that is called ethics, integrity, aptitude is because as a civil servant, you need to be very ethical. So how ethical you are, That is what the UPSC is going to check. So you have a lot of questions regarding case studies, etc. So all these paper, GS1 paper, essay paper, they're all for 250 marks. They're all for 250 marks. And after that, you have a set of optional paper. Optional paper, that means there is optional paper number 1 and optional paper number 2. Both are for 250 marks, and that makes it 500. 250 plus 250, 500. So regional paper 1, English paper 1. You qualify that. Once you qualify this paper, you write the essay paper. Then you write the GS paper 1, GS paper 2, GS paper 3, GS paper 4, optional paper 1, optional paper 2. So this is the mains paper. Okay, next question that the people have asked. So I've just got an idea about the basics, and then I'll take questions and answer all the questions one by one. So I hope you know what is prelims, now it means, and the personality test or the interview. The interview is called as the personality test. So what happens is, now the interview is going to happen, the civil service interview is going to happen within a few months, and what you is, once you clear the preliminary examination, here is the context. Prelims, mains examination, and interview. One important thing that you need to know is, the marks that you score in prelims is not carried to the mains examination. The marks that you get in the prelims is not carried in the mains examination. And next is, the marks that you get in the mains examination is carried to the interview. Very important. So your marks in the interview will be added to the marks in your mains. Then your final result will come. So this is how the civil services journey is completed. So I think I've given you some idea about the books that you want to say. And the next important question that came up is, and now I think you got an idea about what is the eligibility, and please understand, there is not only about, you are not writing this examination to just get IAS, IPS or IFS. There are many other 24 other services which are very important, like IRS, Indian Revenue Service, Income Tax, Indian Customs. Everything is important. Indian Information Service, Indian Defense Accounts, Indian Information Services, Indian Accounts and Audit Services. There are many other services, Indian Railway Services, IRTS, IRPS. So there are a lot of services. You have to write the examination to get into all these services. Okay, now you know about the different services, and yeah, let me just check the important few questions that are just popping up here. One important question that you said is book list. I think I'll take some time to tell you about the book list, and first I'll start with Ncrt, because a lot of people here asked about the Ncrt books that you want to study. A lot of people say studying Ncrt, 50% of your civil services syllabus is complete. Is it true or false? A lot of people ask this question. I'm completing Ncrt, 50% of this. Whether can we complete 50% of that? The answer I would say is 100% yes. If you complete your Ncrts, right, you can say that 6 to 10, 6 to 12, you can call 6 to 12. If you can complete the basic Ncrts with a basic idea, then you can definitely cover at least 50+% of the civil services syllabus. Then you might ask a question, which are the Ncrts that we need to learn? So let me tell you about that. Basically, you should see 6 to 12 is the normal range of Ncrt syllabus that you need to study. But you can really understand that for history, definitely you can see. For history, you can start studying the Ncrt from 6 to 12. It makes sense, because in history you have to study ancient India, medieval India and modern India. So for both the three important subjects, you can refer 6 to 12. If you can start preparing those, read at least some of the Ncrts, that will be really great. But let me tell you, I'll give you a small success mantra for Ncrts. I think I'll give you a small success mantra for Ncrts. You know what is the success mantra for Ncrt? Because how can we read 6 to 12 standard? I mean, 6 years of Ncrt is very difficult to read all the books. So that is the reason why I'm going to tell you about something called filtering technique for Ncrt. Let me tell you something called as a filtering technique for Ncrt. The filtering technique is very simple. Imagine that you need to study. All you have to do is, either you can study 6 to 10 or you can read 11th and 12th Ncrts, because this is the lower level and this is the higher level. So if somebody says that you have to read 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, it's very difficult for you. You can either read 11th and 12th standard NCRT and then refer some important areas of 6 to 12, 10. And I'm going to tell you the filtering mechanism that I want to tell you is, say imagine that you want to study history. All you have to do is 6th standard and you have to read about ancient India. You have to read about ancient India. Say you want to study about Indus Valley civilization. There is a small chapter. What you have to do is go through the 6th standard NCRT. What you have to read is read the index page. Very important. Take NCRT 6 to 12. Take the index page of all the NCRTs. Write it down and see which all NCRTs contains a chapter called Indus Valley. Then you will see that 6th standard there is Indus Valley, 7th standard you don't have it, 8th standard you don't have it, say 9th standard you have it, 10th standard you don't have it, and in 11th standard you don't have it, 12th standard you have it. So you can see that 6th standard is there, 9th standard is there, and 12th standard is there. So that means in 6 to 12, one chapter called Indus Valley has three important, mentioned in three different years, 6th standard, 9th standard, and 12th standard. Just imagine, you only study that. That means you take a topic called Indus Valley, you know complete things about Indus Valley by studying 6th, 9th and 12th. So this is called as the filtering technique of civil service preparation. If you can do this filtering technique, it is going to be really, really helpful for you. Okay, so that I'll take this question. So NCRT definitely, this is the tip that I want to tell you. When I say 6 to 12, it's very difficult to go and read this. Try to follow the filtering technique. Do the filtering technique and follow the 11th and 12th standard books. Follow the 11th and 12th standard NCRTs. Take the topics and just see the index pages of 6 to 12. It's very easy. It will save a lot of time. Rather than just taking 6th standard to 12th standard, it will save a lot of time for you. So that is the first question that people asked about how to read NCRTs. And there is another question coming here. Which is the best degree to choose for civil services? Which is the best degree? And I think I'll answer this question quickly. Which is the degree that you want to take? And a lot of people will tell you that I should take a humanities subject to get more marks in civil services. And some people say that I need to take the science background subject to, get more important things in civil services. But I'll tell you one thing. It is not the subject that matters. You only need to have a graduation to write civil service examination. That is number one point. But apart from this, do you have any advantage? If I take humanities, will I have any advantage? If I take science, will I have any advantage? These are the questions that normally people ask. But I would say, take civil services syllabus. I said history, geography, economy, Indian constitution, Indian society. You will see that majority of the civil service or IAS examination, the content is more tilted towards art subjects. So that doesn't mean that we have to take humanities subjects. But there are many other science subjects like environmental science, science and technology, biotechnology. All these are very important parts of civil services. So science students also have an advantage in this. But the only thing is that if you take a humanities subject, definitely you will get an advantage. But that doesn't mean that if you take BTech, or if you're a medical graduate, or a science graduate, I would say that both of you have equal chances. My answer will be both of you will have equal chances to qualify civil services. And the art students will, when I say art students, they've already studied history, so they will have a relatability. When you prepare for civil services, you will have a relatability. But the science students, when you start preparing, you will take some time to get this relatability. Some time. So that doesn't mean that it is impossible. You will take some time to get this relatability. Because history, Mughal architecture, the Mughals, or the Indian economy, the banking, money concept. So art students will know this. But the science students will take some time to get to this relatability level. But you can definitely get this thing. So don't worry on that. So whichever subject you take, doesn't matter. You need to have a graduation subject and you can catch up in the civil service examination. And the next important question, so degree is, as I said, you can take any important subject that you want. And the next important question is English. Do you have this doubt in your mind? Is English very, very important for civil services? Is English very important? A lot of people have this. My English is very low. My English is very bad. Can I clear civil services? My English is very bad. Can I get IAS? This is one question that a lot of people ask. Can I get IAS? So this is something that you have to really understand this. So my question here is, so what is this English? I would say that English is just a medium of language. So that is why you have to understand, you can write the civil services examination in your own language if you want. You can write the examination in your own language. If you're a Tamil, if you're a Kannadiga or a Malayali or a person from Hindi language, you can write the exam in your own language. And even for the civil services interview, you can do it in your own language. If you're comfortable with Kannada, you can go to the civil services and have an interpreter. There is an interpreter in the civil services interview. So English as such does not matter. If you feel that my English is very bad, you don't have to worry. In basically civil service examination is not a highly oriented English oriented examination. You have to just know the basics of English. Just know the basics of English. Write the basic content. So don't worry about the English content and don't run away from English. You just need to talk. You just need to write basic English for the papers. So don't worry about the English language proficiency. And there is another question coming up. What are the preparations can we have for the I'm doing self-study as a beginner. How should we distribute subject in the timetable? Aditya Kumar asked this question. Strategy to study from beginning. So don't forget about English. And I need to come to current affairs again. Before that, I'll answer this question. English is not a problem, and which, as a self-study, how can I do a timetable? See, basically you should understand, first thing that an aspirant should have in your mind is, let's discuss about the timetable. If this is your one day, all you have to do is, you have to study the subjects. That you need to plan your subjects. You know, the main pillars of civil service examination. You plan your subject studies. After that, you should find time to read the newspaper. Very, very important. Every day, make it a habit that you read newspaper to get the current affairs. So you start with the subjects, you read the current affairs things, and you read the subjects, and you find time for reading newspapers, and again you should find some time for revision. So this is some normal one day that every aspirant will go. You know, it will be something like this. You start with the one subject, you read it for 3 to 4 hours, you take a break, and then you read the newspaper, or maybe you will start with the newspaper and again you will start reading the subject again, and make sure whatever you read, you do a revision daily. Because I would say revision is one thing that can get closer to civil services. You know, without revision, nobody clears civil services. You have to be very, very important and for your revision process. So if you can continue this day, one day you read 1 or 2 subjects or one subject, take a break, read the newspaper, get the current affairs, and you need to prepare for the optional subject also. Prepare some optional subject and then complete with the revision. So this is the ideal one day that you can start it. This is the one day I think that you can really start off with. And next is what are the preparations can we take for the prelims examination? One thing for the strategy for the prelims examination, if you study for preparing for the prelims examination, make sure you read the subjects very clearly. I said the main pillars of examination: history, geography, economy, polity, environment. Read the subjects properly. Read the newspapers very, very diligently with lot of practice. Get the current affairs, and most important thing, practice daily. If you want to prepare for prelims examination, you know, MCQ questions is not easy. That means you get one question and you have 1, 2, 3 options. Practice daily. If you practice daily, study daily, read the newspapers daily, then you can definitely, nobody can stop you from clearing prelims examination. So please understand that. So prelim strategy, read the subjects, get the current affairs, practice regularly. you can definitely, crack the prelims with so much easiness. So that is one strategy that I want to tell you. And then I read a question about newspaper reading. I'll come to that also. How to go for the newspaper reading. A lot of people ask me the question, doubt regarding newspaper reading. Should we read newspapers? Should we read newspapers? A lot of people ask this question. As an aspirant, I read newspaper one day, 1 week, 2 months, 3 months. Then everybody stops reading newspapers. You know why? They go for current affairs magazines. I read current affairs magazines. It's freely available in the internet. So you can read the current affairs magazine. So is that enough? Reading these current affairs magazine, is that enough? No. I would say no. Because newspaper reading is a part of a civil services preparation. You know why newspaper is important? From newspapers, you not only get facts. If you believe that you read newspaper to get the facts, you are completely wrong. It's not only for facts. You get a lot of ideas about how the world goes, what happens in the world, what happens in the country, what happens in India, what happens in the society around you. You get a lot of ideas. So if you believe that newspaper is one place to get facts only, you're completely wrong. You will get a lot of ideas in the, what is happening around the world, what is happening around in India, what is happening around your society. So newspaper reading is something that you cannot miss out. You can read current affairs magazine, don't worry. You read current affairs magazines, no problem. But use it as a secondary thing, not as a substitution to the newspaper. Do not substitute newspapers. Do not substitute newspapers for current affairs magazine. You should definitely read it. So make it a habit for reading it. Initially, it will take some time. Say around 1 to 1.5 or 2 hours you will take initially. But when you read it continuously for 6 months, 7 months, you can even complete the newspaper in just 1 hour or even 45 minutes. You will become a pro. So keep reading it. Don't substitute it with current affairs magazine. Current affairs magazines will only give you facts. They will not give you ideas. So as a civil services aspirant for mains examination and for the interview, you do not need facts, but most often you need ideas. So please keep in mind, and that was one important question regarding civil services. And I have a question. I remember the book list. Definitely I'll give you that book list. Don't worry on that. And an important question. As an aspirant, a lot of people will ask me, how to clear in the first attempt? Is this possible? Can someone really clear the civil service exam in the first attempt? I would say it is not impossible. It is definitely possible, but with lot of, I would say star words or lot of conditions. I would say lot of conditions. And Aditya, I'm coming to your question. I said sociology and public administration are the best topic for your degree. But, I'll come to that question. I'll clarify more on that. And, what I'm trying to tell you is how to clear in the first attempt. I'll take some time on the first attempt, and I'll come to your question of degree, and then I'll come to the question of magazines, and I'll come to the question of book list. Book list I'll give you in the last. I'll give you last. What is the book list? I'll give you in the last section. So first attempt, always understand every year at least 10 to 12% of the aspirants clear it in the first attempt. You can be that person. If you try properly, maybe you can be that person. I said there are certain conditions that you need to do to get this first attempt. One condition would be have an absolute clarity on the subjects. All subjects you need to have clarity. And that doesn't mean that, clarity is something that people will take more number of years to get it. Have an absolute clarity. Whatever is the subject, have a good clarity in that. And next important thing is, I've talked to first attempted people, this is what they said. Time management is the most important thing. Managing your time is the most important thing. That means imagine that you have to do around hundreds or thousands of things, you have to do it. Make such a schedule or such a plan that you can strategically complete all the task that you want to complete. Have a great time management. So have a clarity in the subject, have a proper time management system, have a great plan, and then I would say practice well. It is not that examination is 100 days away, you will start practicing, or the exam is just 50 days away, you will start practicing. Right from the first day, you should start practice. So I'm writing here clarity and the time management, having a proper plan, having a proper practice. Then I would say the most important thing is revision, absolute revision. You know, in civil services, people say if you believe that you have to study 10 to 12 books to clear civil services, then you're completely wrong. All you have to do is read at least 1 to 3 books, or 2 to 3 books, or maximum 1 to 2 books. Read it multiple times. You know, this is the right thing. Not reading 10 to 12 books, read 1 to 3 books or 1 to 2 books multiple number of times. If you do that multiple number of times, you will get more conceptual clarity. You will get more concept clarity, and with this concept clarity, you can understand that you will be doing much more better manner. So this is the concept of concept clarity. So that is why you need to have a great time management, have proper clarity in subjects, and practice every day. You need to practice every day, have a great plan or a schedule, practice every day, and do the proper revision. Do proper revision. Do it time bound. You will definitely clear it in the first attempt. And I said it is not easy. Out of lakhs of people, not everybody is able to study all this matter. So if you want to clear in the first attempt, time, schedule, clarity, practice, proper revision, you can definitely get into that. So this is regarding the first attempt, and a few questions that the next attempt came is where we get study materials. So in these days, it is very easy to get at the study materials. So you can buy the books online. All the books are freely available in the Amazon, Flipkart, etc. You can even buy from your bookstores. So the right strategy is reading the standard books. I'll give you an idea. This is it. You can get all the study materials online. If you want a book of history, or say modern India, you want a book on modern India, say Bipin Chandra's Modern India. What do you want to do? You can simply Google Bipin Chandra Modern India PDF. You will get that book. So majority of the books are found in online, but this is the series of books that you need to follow. First you need to follow, first you need to follow? First you need to follow the NCRT, start with NCRTs, slowly move to standard books, This is what is the study process, and slowly read newspapers, make your current affairs, then civil services is something that you can really get into the service. So this is regarding the planning of that. And moving on, strategy, I gave you a strategy. I'll give you a small question. Anantu Sunil has asked a question. I'll just answer that question quickly, because Anantu has asked this question: what are the subjects that you need to take in this school? Because I assume that you are a school student, and whether you want to go for the humanities or the science stream, I would say don't forget IAS. Don't think about IAS, because either you take science or humanities. There are many doctors and engineers who play science, civil services. In your school subjects, make sure which is that one subject that interests you. Is reading history or reading physics gives you that interest? You take it, because after your college, you have to study all the subjects. So take the subjects that give you the best interest. If you have the interest in humanities, definitely take it. So that is the advice for you. So go for the subject that interests you. Okay, so is it possible for degree physics students to clear IAS? Why not? Akhil asked me, why not? If you're a physics student, why not? You can definitely clear it. There are people from mathematics, science. Always understand, this is your school level. Watch this picture carefully. Pratiksha Pawar, how to handle the pressure that we are getting? Very good question. I will answer that question. So quickly, just telling you an important answer to all the aspirants. Imagine that this is the school level. This is the college level. And this is the final UPSC world. And UPSC examination has got its own pattern, its own, its own syllabus, its own subjects. So the thing is, you study anything in school, you study humanities. That doesn't mean that you've already studied humanities. You'll be very easy for you to study the. No, you'll have an idea. If you study physics or chemistry in college, doesn't matter. When you reach this point, everybody, whether you come from mathematics, physics, chemistry, sociology, biology, any background, you all should approach UPSC syllabus and subjects separately, because that is from a different level. Anyway, you have to give a separate effort to do this. So whatever subjects that you study, I said if you study art subjects, you'll get an advantage because all the things that we discuss will not be new to you. If you're a science student, you'll take some time to get this. But once you all get this, everybody is on the same track. So there is no bias from that. This is my humble suggestion to all of you. Study subjects that you really like, because in civil services, once you get into that, you have to study all the subjects. So keep in mind. And I'm coming to the, so degree physics, I've answered that question. First attempt I've already given. Newspaper importance I've already given. And, but if still there is a question coming, it is subjects like this. Imagine that this is the full track. This is the full track of IAS. This is the full track of IAS. And you are an art student. You are running in this. This is the same track. You are an art student, so when it starts, this is the starting point. This is the starting point. When you start, you will be immediately reaching this point called A, because all the subjects that you studied, you know that. You are a science student. You are coming from the starting point. You will take some time to reach here, because since you have studied history, geography, economy, constitution, you will take some time to reach A. But after reaching a point A, the art student, science student, everybody goes in the same track. It's all about that initial starting. It's all about that initial starting time. So don't worry, study the subjects that you really want to study. Okay, so that was the important thing that I gave you. And before we go on to the book list, let me take important questions like somebody asked how to handle the pattern of the mains. What is the pattern of the mains examination? Pratiksha, don't worry, I'm going to answer your question. Pattern of the mains examination is completely written. I've already given you the complete pattern of what is the mains examination. Insurtech blogger, you can just, after the session, you can just go back and see the answer for yourself. I've given a complete detail on how the mains examination is working. And before we go for the stress pattern, before we go for the proposition of quota available, you definitely know that civil service examination definitely has this reservation system involved in this. So not only for the prelims, even for the mains, the interview, and after the interview, even your selection for IAS, your selection for civil services, IAS, IPS, and even for your posting, you have this reservation system. Say you have minimum seats, at least 50% of the seats are for general, less of the seat for SC, ST, OBC, physically handicapped, or differently abled people. Everybody, this reservation is applying for prelims, mains, interview, your selection to IAS, and even for your postings. This reservation system is applying. So definitely understand that level. And next question is Shifa Sheikh is asking me this question. How much current affairs is required? So imagine that you're going to write 2022 year. Imagine that you're going to write 2022 June. You're going to write the prelims. Okay, let's go backwards. And you can see when you go really backwards, you will understand one thing. 2021, say the last prelims was, imagine it happened in June. 2021, July, August. From that, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, and probably up to April, maybe few months of first week of May, The current affairs is very, very important for the prelims examination. So you can roughly say that last 1 year current affairs or 10 to 12 months, 10 to 11 months, at least minimum 10 months current affairs is very, very important. Prior you can go this. And the next question come, how much current affairs is different and how much separate, and then the question comes, how many times can I write the examination? You can know, you know that for general candidates, you know that it is actually 32 years or 6 attempts. You can write 6 attempts or 32 years, and for OBC it is 35, and for SC ST it is unlimited number of times or up to 37 years. So this is the time frame that I really hope that all of you get the civil services in your first or second attempt. Do not go for 32, 35 or 37. And if you can clear it early, that is the best thing that you can understand. So the next important thing that I would like to go is how many attempts I've done already given you, and now how many years after degree preparation. So I would say after your graduation, if you study 1 year completely, devote entirely for civil services, you can crack civil services. If you are a school student, start reading, just have a strong foundation, get a strong foundation, and after this foundation, complete a college, and maybe if you start from your school, even study it in the college, maybe that is the time when you can write civil service at 21. 21st year you can write civil services. And imagine that if you are a college student, if you can study from say first year, second year and third year completely, if you're very thorough with that, maybe you can even write the examination at 21, or after the college you can take 1 year break and then give the examination in 22 or 23 and clear it in the first attempt. So this is the time frame that you need to know. And Pratiksha, I'll come to Pratiksha. Pratiksha has asked a very important question, so I will definitely come to that question. Because how to handle stress? How to handle stress is the most important question that Pratiksha Pawar has asked. How to handle stress? Stress is something that comes up with everything, whether it is IAS examination. One standard answer that I will give you for the stress is, I'll do like this. Dreams is something that we know. Everybody has the dream. Work is the second thing that you need to do. On one hand, you need to have the dream, and one hand, you need to have the work done. So, one thing that you need to do is, don't be anxious. When you believe that there is only 1 year to study, it creates a lot of anxiety. It creates a lot of anxiety in people's mind that I need to study. I have a great dream. So, after some point, I would say the answer is take it easy. The simple advice is take it easy. Don't pressurize yourself. I know there is a dream in your mind. Have that dream in your mind. Have that dream. Work, everyday work. Start working. Work for that, and don't put a timeline on you, and don't pressurize yourself that I need to complete this many of chapter in this month. I need to complete 2 chapters in 15 days, or 3 chapters in just 1 day. It's pressure. I'm not able to do that. Unnecessary anxiety. Your dream should not become a burden. Your dream should not become a burden. Don't create that unnecessary anxiety in your mind. Take it easy. Study one by one. If you cannot study, study every day. If you are not able to complete your target, you keep a target for you. If you are not able to, say one subject or one chapter in 1 day, or it's not working, I'm not able to study 1 chapter in 1 day, I'm getting very sad. Don't do that. Don't pressurize. So, 1 chapter in say 2 days. If it is not working, 1 chapter in 3 days. Get the confidence here. Complete that chapter with confidence. Take it easy. If you can study 1 chapter in 3 days, you continue studying 3 days, complete 1 chapter. Slowly your speed will increase. Don't worry, your speed will increase, and then after some time you will be able to complete 1 chapter in one day. So don't pressurize yourself. don't make your dream become a burden for you. That is the one thing that I want to tell you that. And so don't take the pressurizing, don't worry for the pressurizing. And next I'm going to the important question. I have another important thing to say. What are the important questions that the interview is asked? I'll go for the interview, and after that I have questions like how to make notes from the newspaper, and how to take care allocation. So I'll take this question. Very interesting question. So Pratiksha, I hope you have an idea. Don't pressurize yourself. Don't make your dream become a burden for you. What are some of the interview questions? Very good. A lot of people have an idea that, at least many of you must have seen, at least in movies or something, they ask you a lot of questions. Majority of the times you may not be asked factual question. They'll ask, number one, they can ask questions on your biodata. They can ask questions on your biodata, where you were born, the school that you study, the city that you're coming from, and what does your name mean. It's very important. I found an aspirant whose name was Arpita. So the board asked the question, what does the mean Arpita means? I heard a person's name's called Jamilok. His name was Jamilok Matthew. What do you mean by Jamilok? So there is a meaning of the word. So always knows. And obviously you can be asked from your subject background. If you're a doctor, you can be asked questions on medicine. And if you're from an economics background, you can be asked question on you can be asked question on what is the economy going on. If you're a chartered accountant, you'll be asked question on that. If you're a mathematician, you can be asked question on that. And definitely they can ask you questions on current affairs. They can ask you about the Russia-Ukraine war and why is the war happening. And they can be asked why India is what is India's position in the Ukraine war. They can ask you such question. Current affairs, any question that they can ask you. From the hobby, they can ask you anything. I've heard questions ranging from they can even ask you to sing a song, recite a poem, or even if you say Bollywood movies, listening to music, they can even ask you what is the difference between Hindustani music and classical music, and what is the favorite A.R. Rahman composition that you like. Depending upon your hobby, they can ask you any question. Depending upon national current affair, international current affair, your society, even from the city that you're coming from, you can ask anything. So these are the questions that they can ask, and some of the questions. So I'm debating about some of the questions in the interviews. So they can ask this question, and they can ask any idea-based question. Sometimes they can ask you case study questions. Imagine that you are a district collector. Imagine that you are a commissioner. What are the things that you will do when you are in a situation? They can ask case study questions, decision-making questions, and they can ask about films also. They can ask you a question on Kashmir files. They can ask you a question on what is happening in Kashmir, what is happening in different cities, what is happening in your city, what is the one important problem that your city faces. If you are from Bengaluru, what is the one thing that Bangalore is facing? If you are from say Agra, they can ask you a question on Indian architecture or the Taj Mahal or Mughal architecture. These are the type of questions that they can ask from the interview. So please keep that in mind. And Srihari and Srinu is asking me again one more question. I'll come up with another question here, working professional strategy, and I'll answer that question again. And the interview questions, I've cleared it. And Srinu and Srihari and Pratiksha Pawar, you think I've given the question regarding how to overcome the stress during the study time. One thing I've already told you is that stress, remove the anxiety part. Remove the anxiety part, and when you put a target, relax the target a bit. Don't squeeze yourself so much. I said if you want to study one chapter in one day, if it doesn't happen, do it for 2 days. If it doesn't happen, do it 3 days. Relax a target bit. Don't make your dream a burden. That is a single thing that I want to tell you again. So I think the question was again asked. That is the reason why I gave you this answer again. And then important, how to make. And again, this question is asking, sociology and public administration is related to UPSC syllabus. Exactly, yes. As I said, remember the track. If you're an art student, if you're a science student, civil services definitely has a big bias. At least I would say a 90% bias for art subjects. and 10% for the science subjects, biotechnology, agriculture, climate change, etc., environment. 10% is science oriented, 90% is the arts oriented. If you take strategic subjects like sociology, public administration, definitely, as I said, that will give you an edge. That will definitely give you an advantage in the paper, no doubt on that. But that doesn't mean that if you take physics or chemistry, you don't have an advantage. The initial time, you'll take some time to catch it up. That's it. So I think that, Umesh, yes, Umesh Rathod, I'm asking a question. Umesh is requesting for a quick answer. Umesh, I'm trying to answer your question. I came from an underprivileged family in a small remote area. I have plenty of family problems. I'm studying in hostel. My parents are not supporting. My parents are illiterate. Tell me honestly, can I clear UPSC exam? Umesh, I am answering your question. Why not? You can definitely clear UPSC, because I can give you hundreds of examples, real life examples, who have cleared UPSC civil service examination without anybody's, I would not say anybody's support, even parents' support, because there are friends, relatives, or mentors. Even we can help you. Don't worry. Mentors like we can help you. One thing in civil services, what do you need for civil services? There are plenty of materials available in the online. So you will not face any problem regarding the materials. And mentoring. There are so many platforms like us who can definitely help you guide the civil services mentoring. And definitely support system. Because parents are an important support system. I think there will be definitely a few friends, a few people in your life who really believe that you will come up in life. And I can give you an example. I'll not tell you the name. I remember a girl from Agra who came to a civil service, started to civil services. She was thrown out of the family. She was thrown out of her family only because she wanted to study IAS. She did not give up. She started studying, and with support of so many people, friends, like-minded people, mentors, teachers, she cleared civil services in her third attempt. She cracked IRS. And now the whole parents, whole relatives is actually coming behind her to have that she is my family member. So this thing, don't worry, Umesh Rathod. If your families don't worry. If civil services is something that you can really get it. One thing is online materials. You can get all the materials online. You can listen to almost all the classes online, and you can get mentoring from all the platforms. We can help you get you mentoring. Don't worry on that. So if you have all these things, why are you afraid? With some help of your friends, definitely like-minded people, IAS you can crack. Don't worry on that. Okay. So Umesh Rathod, keep up the spirit. Don't worry. I've already answered your question. And the next important question that I want to give you, I think we are running out of. I think study material. I'm coming to study material. I need one more question. And working professional was the next important question that many people ask me. Working professional. Yeah, that is a good question. Working professional, I would say only one thing. If you're a working professional, Jobin, I'm coming to study material. I'll answer the study material and the book list. And working professional, only one suggestion for all the working professional. You can clear civil services being working. The only thing that you have to do is time management, nothing else. Time management, because you'll have a slot of work like this. Morning, say 9 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock. Maybe your work time can be different. What you have to do is squeeze out the time for civil service preparation, at least 3 to 4 hours daily, consistently. If you can manage your time, you can work, earn the money that you really want to get, support your family, support yourself. Keep up the time management. Without time management, working professionals, civil services is going to be very difficult. You have to manage time, and in that time, practice very much. That is one thing that I want to tell you to all aspirants and working professional. So Umesh Rathod, I hope your query is clear. Pratiksha has got another question on how to make notes from newspaper. Pratiksha, I think that needs a lot of time, and I think next week probably I'll do a full session with the newspaper of how to make notes, how to read newspaper from IAS perspective, how to create the notes, and how to make newspaper leads, and how to use it for prelims, how to use it for mains, and how to use it for interview. It requires some time, Pratiksha. Don't worry. Next week we'll do Rosida Nawaz, what is that question? Can you answer this question? It's very useful, and because newspaper, it will take some time, but definitely I can give you a small introduction. When you get a newspaper, the one thing that you always have to do is just a small answer. I would like to take an important full free session. Don't worry on that. So let me tell you a few things. From a newspaper, to make notes, all you have to do is you need to study about every newspaper will give you an important facts. You capture that facts and it will give you some ideas. What is happening? Capture that idea. What is happening around the world? What is happening around India? And what is happening around the society? Get the idea. Facts and ideas. How you should, on what basis are you getting this facts and idea? Read the syllabus carefully. If you find a newspaper, the Constitution of India is interpreted by Supreme Court of India, immediately you know that this is a question from Indian polity, because you know the syllabus. That is very important for an idea level. You see an important newspaper article or a newspaper or important news like, say, an animal called, say, let's tiger. The tiger population is declining in India. Immediately when you see this question, you know that this is a fact. This is a fact-oriented stuff. And why this is important? Because according to the syllabus, this is an environment area. An environment such question is very important. Immediately you see a question that there is another newspaper that Russia, Ukraine. You hear about thing called NATO. NATO is in the news. You read that thing. You read it as per the fact. Read it for the idea. Only because according to the syllabus, this is an important topic for international relations. So you will definitely study that. So I think Pratiksha, I hope Pratiksha and Rosita, I think you are getting, it's a very big topic. I can definitely help you study this. In a one session, maybe we can say how to read newspapers. So that is something that we can do also. So don't worry, I hope you got this question. And next question that I want, working professional, I gave this answer, and how to clear the first attempt I told you, and cadre allocation. Cadre allocation is dependent upon so many things. First of all, you need to, while you write the interview, before you go for the mains examination interview, you fill a form called detailed analysis, detailed application form. In that, you give your preferences, which are the cadres that you want. Previously, it was state-wise. Now it is a group of cadres. So there is some changes coming in. According to your preferences and according to your rank that you get in the final list, everything, and according to the vacancy in each and every cadre, you are selected. Whether you will work in the Delhi cadre, UP cadre, or Rajasthan cadre, depends upon your preference, your rank, the number of vacancies, and all these factors determines how you can get into the service. And okay, Umesh Rathod says, I have utmost respect for your institution. My friends have good opinion. Thank you, Umesh. Definitely, we will hopefully connect with you in the soon. Definitely, we are trying to connect a lot of aspirants like you. So keep up, Umesh, keep up the work, and don't lose your heart. I really want to see your name coming up in the UPSC range, UPSC list. So work hard for that. And cadre allocation. And I think before we wind up, definitely a lot of people would have asked me about the study material. So study material and book list, I can give you that book list. And if you're really preparing for that, Ncrt, I would say Ncrt, definitely you can download all the Ncrts. All of them are available in PDF format in the internet, or you can visit the Ncrt website itself. You will get all the books on that. And regarding history, I'll say we'll start with history. Regarding some of the questions from history, let's look at like this. In order to, every subject, you need to start like this. Ncrt, plus you'll go to the standard books. So this is how you start preparing. First you read any subjects, read the Ncrt, minimum Ncrt, and then you go for the standard books. This is the usual thing that you need to do. So if you're taking history, definitely read the Ncrts. And for modern India, Modern India, read the old NCRT. If you can write it down, read the old NCRT. Read the old NCRT of Bipin Chandra. It is freely available in the internet. You can simply find it out. Read the Modern India old NCRT of Bipin Chandra. It is easily found in the internet. So find that Bipin Chandra NCRT. And for the main books, you can definitely read Bipin Chandra's India's Struggle for Independence. It's a very nice book. You can read India's Struggle for Independence. And you can read India's Struggle for Independence. So India's Struggle for Independence. And you can even read Spectrum. Spectrum is a very nice book. A lot of people read this. You don't have to read everything. As I said, NCRT plus standard books. This is the combination of the formula. Apply this. NCRT plus standard books. So NCRT read Modern India, NCRT read India Struggle Bipin Chandra. As a standard books, either read Spectrum or read India's Struggle for Independence. Read either one, which is comfortable for you. And for history, Modern India, I said Ancient India and Medieval India, you can read the NCRTs is more than sufficient. Read the NCRTs, more than sufficient for that. And when you go for geography, same formula, NCRT plus standard books. So read the NCRT. For this NCRT, 6 to 12, do the filter technique. If you're coming new to this session, you can apply this filter technique. I've given you what you mean by filter technique. You can study the filter technique. It will be very helpful for you. Okay, so NCRT, and you can read GC Leong is a very good book. GC Leong is a very good book, and even if you want, you can start reading Majid Hussain is also a very nice book for Indian geography, basics of geography. So GC Leong plus NCRT can at least give you a good idea, and even you can start reading NIOS book. National Open School books of geography are also very easy to study. If you're not able to study GC Leong, Majid Hussain, read the complete NCRT, read NIOS. That will give you a very good idea. And for economics, definitely when you go for economics, you can say 11th and 12th standard books, 11th and 12th standard NCRT. 95% of the people do not like this because basically it's very tough to understand. So you can read many books. There is you can read Indian economy. Basically, it's divided into two important factors. One is the macro and microeconomics, and then it is called the Indian economy. You have the Indian economy coming in. So for Indian economy, you can read, there are a lot of books. You can read Ramesh Singh. And for macroeconomy, you can even read Shankar Ganesh. It's a very nice book, fantastically written, very easy to understand. For macro, you can read Shankar Ganesh, and there are a lot of other books. And Indian economy, you can read Ramesh Singh, Sanjeev Verma. A lot of books are there. Pick out the book, read the books that you like, because that is also very important. The books that you read should give you an interest. For economy, this is the important thing. So history, geography, economy. For polity, there are many other books. But the most important people, everybody reads Lakshmikant, and that's a good book. Lakshmikant is a very easy book, and it can give you a lot of information in a nutshell format. But there are many other books for polity also in the market and PDF study materials. If you like the study materials more, read that. But as far as Lakshmikant is very easy to understand. There are many other books to study also. So history, geography, economy, polity, environment, there are so many materials available. There are many, even the UGC. The UGC has a fantastic book. You can download environment UGC material, study material. It's a fantastic material you have. And IGNOU study material. Please, you can Google environment IGNOU material. Indira Gandhi National Open University material. That is a very beautifully written document of environment. You can study. And as you said, environment has two important factors. One is the static part and one is the current affairs part. Current affairs, you have to definitely read the newspaper. Static part, you can read the any study material that you want. UGC material is good. IGNOU Environmental Science, very beautiful book. You can start reading it. It's a bit bulky, but definitely you'll get your static portions 100% clearly. For science and technology, I would say science and technology, there are many other books. As I said, read the NCRTs properly. And even for environment, read the 6 to 10 NCRTs properly. And for science and technology, again, science and technology is divided into basic plus current affairs. Newspapers is the most important source of current affairs. So prepare science and technology according to the current affairs. That is how it will be helping you for a longer term. And these are some of the important questions. The filter technique, you can just go back and read. And can you definitely, Anusha, Raj, we are doing a lot of quiz type. We are coming up with a lot of quiz type videos for you to practice. So we are coming up with a lot of things like this, and this is only a first session. I really hope that you got so much of idea. You can just go back to the video, watch it again, and we will have this live sessions coming every week, so that I'll answer next week. Probably we can have a live session on the how to read newspapers with the note making technique. So we'll do all such things, and everything possible. We'll try to do it possibly. So definitely LearnStroke is always here. If you really like this session, you can comment below. If you really like the session, comment below. And if you want more sessions, what are the type of the sessions that you want us to have? Please type in the chat box. What sessions do you want us to do live? We'll absolutely do it live for you. And please do subscribe the channel, and for more videos, please keep in touch with me. And whatever questions are missing, we'll try to answer it in the later session. So all the civil service aspirants, thank you so much. Please put in your reviews and comments, and please give up the number of topics that you want me to make or do live videos like this. Okay, so in the few weeks, we are also planning to have the current affairs, editorial summaries, everything in LearnStroke. So please do keep in touch. Thank you so much all, and I really hope. Thank you so much. Take care. And please do comment below.